What's up, guys? Josh here, joined by Andy the Eternal Hammer himself.
Hi guys, and thanks Josh for having us on. Excited to have a look at this matchup.
Yeah, we've got a match here against between Montolio and slug360, and it's Montolio on welder or on metalworker stacks, and Slug is on a four-color Delver list. So it could be tough for Montolio. Delver is kind of driven stacks a bit out of the format, but
Yeah, an early flip Delver coming in for 3 damage each turn isn't very fun for the Stacks player.
yeah, it's pretty hard to answer. So, I think we're going to get underway here.
It's very inconsiderate of people to play slowly when they're being recorded for a feature match.
That's true. Why can't you
That's
choose
so
to
good.
mulligan quicker? This looks like Slug's on 6 and Montolio's on 7 cards. Have fun as I drop a turn 1 Delver on you.
Yeah, that's not the start that he really wants to see, is it? It's like, hello and good luck. I've just played the best card in my deck against you.
Yeah, that's not having fun, I don't think. Ancient Tomb.
Is that Chalice of the Void for 1? Yeah, that's a pretty huge play.
Yeah, I think that shuts off the majority of Slug's spells, actually.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good play there. All you got to do now is find a way to sort that Delver out, or hope that it doesn't flip too quickly.
Yep, shows the difference between being on the play and on the draw.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slug flips it, revealing a gush. So, it's a pretty quick clock at this point.
Yeah, especially with the Ancient Tomb out there for Mr. Montolio, as his source of mana is also a source of pain.
If only Montolio subscribed to the Ratchet Bomb in his deck.
I do like the Ratchet Bomb. In the version I've been playing, I got Triskelion and Ratchet Bomb as answers to these pesky little insectides.
Ratchet Bomb on 0 seems pretty good against a flip Delver.
Yeah, absolutely. So these guys are taking their time between turns, mulling over the options. Really don't know what Montolio's game plan here is. I don't know. He's going to have to try and race this Delver, but taking mana damage from the tomb, it just seems a little bit step too far.
Yeah, he's taking 5 a turn if he wants to tap that Ancient Tomb. And one of his only main deck answers is, oh, there it is, the Metamorph. So, puts himself down to 11 and has to hope there's no counter.
Yeah, it has to resolve that, doesn't it? So looking at Force of Will.
I would think this would just be a snap counter if he's got one.
Yeah, because if he can keep that off the board, keep the Delver coming in, it's got to be game, isn't it?
Yeah. Assuming there's not a follow-up of a workshop and a worm coil engine.
I guess Tangle Wire is also an option.
Yeah, that gives him some time. So he gets that down. Slug can still play one of his 2-mana creatures. There's no spheres on the table or anything.
Oh well, not anymore.
Yep.
Presumably that resolves as well. If he didn't have a way to stop the Metamorph, you'd have to assume he doesn't have a way to stop the Chalice for 2.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. He could play in a Snapcaster ahead of it, but now that there's a factory on the board, it's not a very good play.
Well, it's probably worth doing if he's got the Snapcaster in hand, because otherwise he's not going to get the Snapcaster down.
Yeah.
And
He at least gets in 2 damage.
even if he is able to get the Snapcaster down, then anything he's going to want to snap back is probably going to be a 1 casting cost spell. So
Yep. Goes for an island. And he's going to gush.
and that's a hugely risky play, I would have thought, trying to reduce the number of lands on the table against a workshop-based strategy. But he's obviously in need of the cards there. He obviously needs to try and find an out.
Yeah.
Most of his deck's now switched off. There's not that many cards left in his deck that are more 2 mana casting cost.
Yep. That's pretty good to fill up his hand and then have a library, though.
It is. He'll get at least 1 use out of that. I assume Montolio will ghost quarter the library.
He does have basics, and I guess Jace is his best play here now.
Yeah, it's whether I guess Montolio's able to get down enough enough of spheres to make that unlikely.
Yeah.
They're both certainly thinking about their turns anyway.
Yeah, they're, Montolio's close to stabilizing the game here.
I guess the ghost quarter on the library makes sense to turn off the card advantage, but it does then put Montolio quite low on available mana.
Yeah, and he's got
about to
that.
get that many uses out of that too. Oh, okay, he's got the Crucible. That could be really critical here if this resolves. Then he can be free to Ghost Quarter and recur and...
Yeah, it's like a strip mine eventually, but there's the...
Okay, so there's the Force of Will.
Exiling his uncastable Delver of Secrets.
I think he made a mistake there of not using the library before he Force of Willed.
Yep. Looks like he probably knows that he... So Montolio can attack in with his factory now if he doesn't have anything?
He could, but I can't help thinking he'd be better off getting the library off the table.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's going to activate the factory. I'm not a very good shops player, but I would have hit the library there if I was playing these games. Maybe
Yeah,
that would be wrong.
it's probably the right play to take that factory away. I think he's got one more basic in his deck. I think he's got 2.
And again, he opts to beat with the factory.
So it looks like he's going to try and kill him before he finds a Jace.
Yeah, but he's giving him the opportunity to find the Jace.
Yeah, drawing 2 cards a turn is gonna... It's gonna be tough to get through 7 turns here.
I really wonder what Montolio's 7 cards in hand are as well.
Yeah, I can only
But
assume they're like 6 casting cost things, or
yeah, it must be. I mean, he can't have any other land.
there's
Oh,
the
now he's
strip.
going to take out the library. So in my mind, he let Slug have 3 extra cards that could have been avoided in exchange for 6 life.
Well, he's gonna have to hope that those cards weren't Jace. It's pretty close to being able to attack with
Yeah,
both.
I get. Yeah, I guess getting strip mine down did prevent Slug getting another basic.
Yep. So 9 cards in hand for Slug. There's the Jace. That's gonna make that Metamorph basically uncastable now with this attack.
That has to be game, surely.
I would think so.
I mean, he can swing in with a factory and knock a couple of loyalty counters off of Jace, but
Then he goes
he's
down
then
to
going to
1.
take. Yeah, he's going to take 3 on the backswing.
So I guess he would have to have a land here, and then draw another land. I guess he needs a land, like 2 lands and a Triskelion.
Yeah, I just can't see it happening. Slug's also got 7 cards in hand.
Yeah, he's probably got another Force of Will at this point.
There's a good chance he's got, yeah.
So there's a Wasteland, so now he would need a Workshop and a Triskelion.
Unless he's got the Triskelion here. I know he hasn't got enough mana.
Yeah, he can't cast it, so he has to have Triskelion in hand, because we know he doesn't have a Workshop in hand. And he's got to draw a Workshop. And that's his only out, I think.
And he's only got 1 main deck Triskelion anyway.
Yep. Yeah, Worm Coil won't do it anymore. Hellkites are in the sideboard.
So he's going to 1 with 3 mana available.
Yep. Tomb is shut off now, and he can't cast his Metamorph anymore. Well, looks like that'll probably do it. Yep, there's the end of that one. Alright, on to game 2 here. Montolio will be on the play this time, which is definitely better for him.
Yeah, but Slug gets to bring in a recoil, a couple of Ignot Chewers, an Ancient Claim, and an Ancient Claim, an Ancient Grudge, and 2 Nature's Claims. So
yeah, he's got a good amount of sideboard hate, probably more than you would expect in the current metagame for Workshops.
Yeah. And you've also got to remember that Slug's got 3 main deck Spell Pierce as well, and a main deck Nature's Claim, and Lightning Bolts for the Lodestone. So going into this match, you've got to favour Slug.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cards that are pretty good here.
So Montolio's best play has to be, I guess, turn 1 Trinisphere, something like that.
Yeah, or a Chalice on 1. It's pretty good, turn 1.
Chalice on 1's pretty special.
And then a whole bunch of Lodestone Golems in a row.
Yeah. And just hope there's no ingot chewers to ruin the day.
Yep. Alright. That's a better
Well, that's
start.
a good start. Ooh!
Goes for the foily metalworker.
All in. So he has to hope A, there's no force of will in Slug's hand. And B, perhaps more worryingly, has to hope that there is no nature's claim or force of will. And there's the force of will.
So, he's got to hope to have more land than that now.
Oh, there's the nemesis.
The Delver.
Has he got another workshop? Crucible. That's not going to do it. That's not what you want to be landing on turn 2.
Maybe trying to bait another counter?
Potentially.
So he can keep Slug off of lands. That Delver does not flip this time. Ooh, there's the ingot chewer. So that wasteland is not coming back.
No, but I think Montolio would be quite grateful to have drawn the ingot chewer.
Yeah, probably happy just to get rid of it there.
Lodestone?
Lodestone Golem.
So Slug had quite a few outs to a resolve Lodestone, actually.
Yeah, if he's got
Assuming
a
he,
land
assuming
and a
he can
lightning
find
bolt.
land number 2.
Yep. Land and bolt, land and nature's claim.
Oh, he doesn't have the land.
And he doesn't flip either, so that's interesting that he didn't draw a instant or sorcery and didn't draw a land.
Must have drawn the Jace.
I guess he could have a handful of Delvers.
True, true. That's pretty huge because that now takes the Nature's Claim and the Lightning Bolt
Yep.
out of realms.
Looks like he's going in for 7 here.
And still the Delver doesn't flip.
That's a lot of turns.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the problem when you sideboard in things like Ingot Chewers.
He must have brought in quite a few spells, though.
Yeah, true. I mean, he had the claims, the grudges, the recoils.
I don't know what he takes out, but
Probably things like Misstep.
yeah, I guess he boards out his missteps right away.
Arguably taking out... Well, no, I guess Snapcaster's probably worth keeping in for the... Triskelion here would be awesome.
Yeah. He knows whatever he plays can't be countered, so... Oh, must not have anything.
Still fine though.
Just beats in for another 7. Will the Delvers flip?
Even if they do,
Yeah,
I
at
don't
least
see
now,
any
if
way
they
back
flip,
to
they
this.
could trade at least.
Yeah, then they still don't flip, so presumably that's 1-1.
This is the danger zone for sure.
Ooh, Tamagotchi.
A 4 or 5.
That's made this game more interesting. Because now he can't send the lodestone in.
Well, I think he probably still would.
I'm not so sure.
Goif is only a
Is that-
4 or 5, so
Yeah, but Goif trades with the lodestone.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if he can just sit back on it though.
I guess if those two delvers flip, that's a 3-turn clock.
Yeah. And if he's got a bolt or anything to deal with the lodestone, it's just terrible.
He should attack with the factory as well there.
Looks like it's just lodestone going in.
Ooh, okay. Well, we'll see what. Maybe he's got some big casting cost card to come down. But I would have gone in with the factory there as well.
Well, I guess Goif.
That's interesting from Slug as well. Slug decides to keep the lodestone on the table and pitches a delver.
Well, that's not doing much at this point.
Would you have sent the factory in there? I would have done.
I don't think so, because it doesn't kill him. And he could have just blocked it with the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, in which case the lodestone gets the job done, unless he was prepared to get rid of the delver as well.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, he just traded off the Delver, so I think it would have ended up being bad. So, porting the green source.
Well, that seems fine.
I think he's got a Trigon Predator, so probably a good idea. I think only one, though, in his deck, so...
I'm still surprised that Slug didn't block the lodestone there.
Maybe he
If
knows
it
something
had
we
done
don't.
that, he'd have had 3 delvers.
Yeah.
2-turn clock when they flip. And presumably the lodestone's hurting Slug more than it is Montolio. There we go, there's the block, there's the trade.
So, what's the follow-up here? Everything's still uncounterable because of the thorn.
Well, what would be pretty epic here would be one of the Temple Masteries off the top. Oh well, there we go, there goes that plan.
Reveal temporal mastery and take an extra turn and... I guess port keeps him off of it anyways.
That's true, yeah. Still those delvers can't flip, which is a big shame for a Slug. Imagine how much different this game would have turned out if those delvers had flipped earlier.
Yeah, I know. Now I guess Metalworker and Factory can both attack next turn.
Yeah, Metalworker beat down for the win, eh?
Yeah, he's close. Especially when you got a 2-2 factory joining him.
So what is Montolio considering here?
I don't know, maybe he's got a 6 casting cost guy.
So he, in the end, opts to send in the factory.
Is he going to play something else before combat? He's still got 1 mana floating, so it looks like he's going to use that.
Triskelion?
Tangle Wire.
Tangle Wire. Well, with the port, that's a complete lockout, isn't it?
Yeah. Slug does have 2 mana available, so he can kill it at the end of turn if he wants.
Ooh, Snapcaster.
Looks like he's going to trade with a factory.
Setting up nicely for a very interesting endgame.
A double block with Delvers to take out the Metalworker.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that play. I think Slug's best chance of winning was to flip both those Delvers. And the amount of mana that could be generated from the workshop was a bit.
Yeah, I think with Tangleware down, he kind of needed to flip those Delvers.
Yeah, and the by getting rid of the Delver as well there, it's also one less permanent he can tap.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised he blocked the Metalworker there.
He chooses to strip mine the workshop, so that puts him another turn if he doesn't have a permanent where he's tapping everything.
Yeah, and Montolio here now will be able to keep the Vishidian port active.
Yep.
It's really going to come down now to the draws over the next 2 turns with Montolio down to 1 card in hand and Slug down to 2.
So he didn't need to tap the port right there, or to use it, because Tangleware still has 3 counters, and he has a Triskelion.
Oh, blowout.
That's interesting that he killed the Delver. He could have just done 3, right? Could have just done 3 damage to Slug instead.
He could have done. I wonder why he chose not to do that.
Probably just concerned with getting the Delver off the board and overlooked that. So, down to 1 life for Slug.
And the Tanglewire is still going to keep his lands tapped down. Those full Tanglewires, jeez. Crazy man.
Yep. Foil port.
Yeah, this whole deck's got to be about 5,000 tickets.
It's a good one.
So So Montolio's going to end up looking a little bit silly here if he doesn't pull this win out, having missed the fact that he could have Triskelion for the win.
Maybe he had the stifle. Maybe he just knew.
He was tapped out, wasn't he, due to the wire?
Yeah, he was. Free stifle.
Took a play around the thorn.
Has a -1 casting cost. Thorn only makes it cost 0.
I love watching other people's games and having people watch mine because quite often you'll make a play that's so intuitive to you that you don't even realise that you made a mistake, so you never have an opportunity to learn from it.
Yep.
Whereas hopefully now Andy will at least watch that, and if he hadn't already, he'll realise where his error laid. I guess once you started hitting the slug with those Triskelion counters, you realise what he'd done.
And I didn't actually notice that when I was recording it either. Alright, so Slug is still buried under spheres. Montolio just needs to draw something that can do 1 damage. Slug's fetch lands are useless at this point. Force of Will is useless.
Yep.
Maybe the Staff of Nin kill will happen. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Slug really can't play anything in his deck, so it's as good as over. Presumably that couple is the Tangle Wire, does it?
There it is.
So we're just moving on now until Montolio finds and draws a creature. Any creature in his deck he will be able to play.
Yeah.
And that creature will get the game 1. And Slug will have no outs. So it is literally now just a case of
Just waiting to draw
waiting
something.
to draw that one creature, yeah.
Even a metal worker.
Yeah, even a metal worker. Triskelion would get the job done without passing the turn.
Got a lot of triggers to stack here.
Yeah, I hate playing with Tangle Wire and Smokestack. Just making sure you get the triggers on the stack in the right order.
Yeah.
And it's just a wall of text. It can be pretty fatal if you get it wrong, because you end up sacrificing an extra permanent or tapping an extra permanent.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised that Montolio's just taking his time there to make sure they're all stacked up in the correct order.
So it looks like he stacked it so he can tap his Tangle Wire that's going to die. Though he could have just tapped his Thorn, so it's not that big a deal, but still the correct play.
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of patterns that you learn as a persistent shops player. And it's like you say, it's good to make those tight plays.
Another Thorn. Slug can forget about Jace being his road to victory this game, I think.
Yeah, it's really hard to see if Slug has any road to victory. I mean, I guess resolving a Trigon Predator is still not completely out of the realms of question once the Tangle Wire dies.
Or like flashing in a Snapcaster before he has to tap things. Ooh.
Ah, there
There's
we
the
go.
worm
Worm coil
coil.
engine. Good game, good game.
Can't even blow that one up. So I would think Swords to Plowshare is the only way to take care of that thing, and he's not running it, so...
And he's still caught in the tangle wire.
Yep, and 3
Buried
spheres.
under spheres. Time to scoop, Mr. Slug. You're about to be beaten by the worm.
There it was. On to the pivotal
Okay, so-
game 3.
Yeah, we do. We need a decider. And luckily for Slug, he's now on the play, which is huge.
So... Slug has kept his 7. Montolio's kept his 7, so we should have a good game here. And there's no turn 1 Delver.
Makes a change.
Strip mine.
Oh, that's a power play there. Slug's got Spell Pierce in hand.
Yeah, it's possible. Or he's faking it.
Yeah, maybe he's just faking it out of habit, but... That's one thing I've tried to do more recently to try and improve my game is to really start to consider what my opponent's grip is.
Yeah.
Try and consider what outs they have, what they might currently have in hand, what they don't have in hand based on what they've been playing. It's an element of my game that I've never really focused on, and I definitely don't utilize that information as much as I should.
Yeah, it's good to pay attention to what cards you've seen compared to what cards you know they've got in the deck and stuff. It's not easy to do.
Even if you know what they've got, it's sometimes not possible to play around them.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt the Slug had the Spell Pierce. We're about to find out.
It's like he's going for a land.
Okay, that's interesting that he didn't go for a basic island. Does he only have one in his
I
deck?
think he has 2.
There's the Spell Pierce.
He may just be playing around a Ghost Quarter there.
Possibly. Or he may have an Ingot Shearer in hand, I guess.
Yeah. So there's a strip mine on the workshop.
Pretty sweet.
There's a wasteland on the volcanic. Brainstorm in response. Looks like Slug missed a land drop there, so we know he's going to be missing them for a while based on that brainstorm then.
Yeah.
And another workshop into a crucible.
It's looking very good for Mr. Montolio at this stage.
There's the force.
Yeah. That was the force or never.
Yep.
But yeah, having to stand still without land against workshop is not a pretty place to be.
No.
His heart must have sunk when he flipped that brainstorm and didn't see any land. Is this lodestone? Oh wow.
Does he have another force?
Well, he has to have any chance of staying in this game.
He does.
There we go. There it is.
Pitches a Hercules.
Desperate stuff, but you've got to hit the Crucible in that position where you've got no land, and you've really got to hit the Lodestone Golem when you've got no board presence at all. Especially with the port coming down to lock out your land as well. Well, to be fair, Montolio can't activate the port at the moment.
He can dream, though. So, City of Traders.
Okay.
And a 6-mana creature. Ooh, big steel Hellkite. You can't lightning bolt that one.
I didn't know there was an alternate art for steel Hellkite in the client.
Yeah, that's been around. It's been around for quite a while, I think. So Montolio's coming in for 6. Slug needs a land very quickly here.
Yeah. It's not looking good.
Doesn't get one, and that is close to doing it. Montolio has a sphere here. I think that'll put it away. It goes in for 7 this time.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that's gotta be.
I don't think he can kill that many.
Just in case you're thinking of coming back, I'll close the door in your face.
Alright, looks like Montolio got that one. He moves to 3-1 in the tournament, so congrats to him.
Yeah, congratulations.
Alright guys, thanks for watching.
Cheers guys, take care.